Published 0649 EDT, the 9th of August 2017. Updated 0649 EDT, the 9th of August 2017. U.S. President Donald Trump speaks about North Korea at a meeting with administration officials at the Trump National Golf Club in New Jersey, on August 8, 2017. By borrowing from North Korea's own rhetorical playbook in his latest verbal assault on Pyongyang, U.S. President Donald Trump risks provoking the unpredictable, nuclear-armed regime into carrying out the very attack we seek to deter, critics say. At his New Jersey golf club, Trump warned that the North, which last month carried out 2 successful tests of an intercontinental ballistic missile, would be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen if it makes more threats against the U.S. The language was similar to the bombastic, colorful diatribes North Korea unleashes against enemies such as South Korea, which it habitually threatens to turn into a sea of flames with its missiles. But Trump's comments were made as Asia was waking up to the 72nd anniversary of the atomic bombing of Nagasaki, and analysts said they would be closely examined in Pyongyang. The U.S. needed to avoid escalating rhetoric that risks provoking the very attack we seek to deter, said Laura Rosenberger, former National Security Council Director for Korea and China. The biggest concern is if they fear U.S. action is imminent and they act in what they believe to be preemptive way, she said on Twitter. Trump's statement today is the kind of threat that could accelerate and/or tip that decision. Republican Senator John McCain also warned that Trump should tread carefully when speaking about the North, telling a U.S. radio station all it's going to do is bring us closer to some kind of serious confrontation. Pyongyang's first ICBM brought Alaska within its range, experts say, and its second extended it to much of the U.S. mainland, including Chicago and potentially New York. The United Nations has imposed a new set of sanctions on the North which could shave off a third of the impoverished country's total export earnings, and Washington, Seoul and Tokyo have staged joint military drills in a show of force. Brinkmanship is highly psychological and the potential for miscalculation is high, said James analyst Carl Dewey, particularly as so little is known about North Korea's troop preferences and threat perceptions. Pyongyang, which says it needs nuclear weapons to deter against the threat of invasion, responded to overflights of the Korean peninsula by Guam-based bombers with a declaration it was considering missile strikes on the U.S. Pacific Island. But Pyongyang regularly issues blood-curdling threats, and analysts pointed out that announcing an attack in advance was not normal military strategy. Shrimp among whales. A photo released from North Korea's official Korean Central News Agency KCNA shows an intercontinental ballistic missile ICBM being launched at an undisclosed place in North Korea. Any U.S. strike on the North risks immediate retaliation. The Pyongyang regime bases its claim to legitimacy on its opposition to the U.S. and rapid escalation, with devastating consequences for the South. Its capital, Seoul, with a population of 10 million people and many more in the surrounding area, is within range of Pyongyang's vast conventional artillery forces. By descending to Pyongyang-style rhetoric without good options for following through, Trump risks U.S. credibility with allies and foes, tweeted Rory Medcalf, head of the National Security College at Australian National University. Southerners have become used to decades of hostile rhetoric from the northern neighbor, but the escalating war of words between the Trump administration, whose messages are frequently variable, and the North has unnerved many. Do you think we would be unharmed if the U.S. will turn North Korea into a sea of fire? We are all going to die, said one of the most liked comments on Naver, the South's top internet portal. The capitalist South Asia's fourth-largest economy and a key Asian ally of the U.S. hosts 28,500 U.S. troops to defend it from the North after the 195,053 Korean War that ended with an armistice instead of a peace treaty. The North's ICBM tests have already raised fears in the South on whether the U.S. would protect Seoul when it could put American cities in danger of potential missile retaliation by Pyongyang. Online posters used the proverbial expression "a shrimp among whales" to describe the country buffeted by the currents of diplomacy and squeezed in a conflict between powerful neighbors. Referring to Trump and the North's young leader Kim Jong-un, one poster said, "If these two nutheads really start a fight, South Korea will be the biggest victim." Sorry, we are not currently accepting comments on this article.